All right, Eric here at the Lewis County Scoop, and today joining me is Nathan Willett. He is running for U.S. Congress representing Missouri District 6. How you doing today, Nathan?
Good to see you, Eric. Thanks for having me.
The sponsor of this Lewis County Scoop podcast is FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. From heating and air conditioning to plumbing repairs and service calls, FHC helps keep your home or business running right across Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois. Call Blake today at 573-822-4284. FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Sponsor does not control or endorse the views expressed in this program.
So you've been busy. You've been up to Handlebar this morning.
Yep.
Was it a meet and greet?
Yeah, a little meet and greet. Met with the sheriff and Munzinger.
Okay.
Had a lot of fun just traveling around
Right.
3 counties, meeting people, meeting voters.
Right. So you've been probably all over North Missouri here. How long have you been campaigning?
Yeah, so about since the beginning or ending of filing. So previously I was running for state senate in Platte and Buchanan County.
Okay.
And then obviously you had a last minute retirement announcement. You know, Congressman Graves filed to run for office and then last second pulled out and immediately endorsed someone. And I didn't think that that's American and not how we do things around here. And I had a good apparatus already set up. So put my name on the ballot, prayed about it with a lot of different individuals. And we're picking up storm, or we're picking up speed, and it's been a great campaign for the last 100 days.
Awesome. So maybe for the people up here in Lewis County that may not know you, maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Yeah. So 7th generation North Missourian. Family has farmed here for all 7 generations. My grandparents run a cattle operation in Kansas City, Northland, and that's actually where my council district is. I represent 90,000 constituents in the Kansas City Council. I ran to fully fund the police after the defund the police movement, and we were able to do just that. We got our police fully funded back in our city. Went from 400 officers short to only 200 officers short. Record academy classes. I fully backed the blue. That's what got me into public service, and been proud to be supported by the Missouri Fraternal Order of Police, not just Kansas City's lodges, but all the lodges across North Missouri endorsed me in this race.
Okay. All right. Well, so you're planning on going to Washington, D.C., and as I've always said with the other candidates, that's a big machine up there. How do you, well, I guess first, why did you want to run for Congress?
Yeah, well, I believe that the people of North Missouri deserve a proven conservative fighter, someone that's not handpicked by the establishment. I believe that we deserve a competitive race. We haven't had a new congressman for 26 years up here. And the fact of the matter is, I appreciate Congressman Graves' service to North Missouri, but he should not have filed to run if he wasn't actually going to run. That's everything you don't like about politics. And it does seem like he used some insider information and just trying to, eliminate competition. And I think North Missouri needs a doer, not a talker, working on behalf of us. And that's what I've been hearing about this campaign trail. And people want someone who's pro-life, pro-farmer, and pro-law enforcement. And I'm proud to have all those endorsements in this race.
Gotcha. As you've been out and about in North Missouri, what are some of the concerns that you're hearing from the people you're talking to?
Yeah, I think people want to go full-fledged on President Trump's deportation mandate, continue to make sure we do not allow criminal illegal aliens to be in our country. I think that we had a little bit of pushback on that earlier this year. The media was starting to turn and trying to change public opinion, but we need to be full throttle on that. I hear from a lot of people that they want full throttle on deportations and continue that and not let off steam.
Yeah.
And secondly, I think people are wanting someone who has a history and the roots and the record to represent here. And I pride myself on constituent services. If in my council district, if the snow's not getting plowed, I get in the snow truck myself and go out and plow my neighborhoods, or if trash is not picked up or recycling, it's on us to get things done. And I think that's what people want to see, someone who's going to work hard, not just be a good conservative vote in Washington, but also understand the district and show up.
So the federal government loves spending money. And I know this is an issue in every election. How can we get the budget balanced?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, what happens is you see the federal government wants to incentivize other local communities or municipalities or states by saying, hey, we'll give you these federal dollars if you adopt these certain policies. You saw that happen with the climate cult agenda under Joe Biden. They put a lot of mandates on people and give them just a small little funding for them. And that's not okay. We got to balance the budget. We can't just continually be doing these continuing resolutions. Those aren't doing anything for the American people. It's just passing it down the line.
It is, isn't it?
And as someone from, I'm 30 years old. Someone from my generation, I'm tired of seeing our federal debt go up. It's now close to $40 trillion. That's insane. They're continuing to rob the next generation of a secure future.
Yeah.
And we need someone who's actually going to fight for the next generation and make sure that we actually get our budget balanced. On the Kansas City Council, I voted against all 3 of our budgets that we've had for the past 3 years because they have a lot of stuff in there that has nothing to do with government. The question you have to ask yourself is, what's the role of government, and stick to it.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you add a new department, you're just adding new continual yearly expenses. We need to continue to eliminate departments, eliminate the Department of Education.
And these are some questions that people have asked in some of our groups. Do you support term limits? And if you do, what should those term limits look like?
Yeah, I support term limits 100%. I believe it should be, no more than a decade serving in office. I do think when you have it so short of like 3 terms, you might have more of the lobbyists that are in control. You have to right size it, but I do believe in term limits. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm running is I don't believe that the current congressman should be able to handpick the next person. And that's what main reason I put my name on the ballot.
Right. Got you. We've interviewed, I think, most of the Republicans that are running for Congress here in this district. We do have a couple left, but what separates you from the other candidates that are running on the Republican side?
Yeah, well, I stepped up in an arena. I'm the only Republican on the Kansas City Council. I'm also a high school math teacher. So I tell everyone, I teach math in the morning to high schoolers and then go down to City Hall and try to teach math in the afternoon to the bureaucrats and to my Democrat colleagues. I fought and have a record of standing principled in a lot of 12-1 votes, but just standing up for common sense. I fought to make sure Kansas City did not become a sanctuary city. Our mayor wanted to invite anywhere from 5,000 to 50,000 illegals into our city. I said, not no, but hell no. I put down a resolution. It shut him up because it made him say that we have to follow our state statute because we were not allowed to. So I fought and delivered. Another big example is the free bus fare. I'm sure you heard that from Zoran Modami in New York.
Right.
I actually brought bus fare back to Kansas City and made sure that we protect our bus operators and, the people who want to use the buses. It shouldn't be a free-for-all. And that was a very bad environment. We're losing out on revenue, so you're having to cut routes. Whenever they say something's free, it's not free. Quality goes down and the costs go up for everyone.
I want to ask you a question because we're asking every single candidate that's going to Washington or wants to go to Washington because you will be approached. What's your position on AIPAC?
Yeah, no, so I haven't taken any money. I do support our ally, Israel. I also believe that Iran should never have a nuclear weapon, and we need to fight to prevent that.
Yeah. Can I ask you the tough one? If AIPAC does approach you, will you take money from them?
No.
Okay.
I mean, the main thing here is my campaign's been funding from North Missourians.
Yep.
That's where I'm heavily funded. And you've seen a lot of heavy PACs come into this race. I've already had $1.5 million spent against me of dark money, trying to, tell my record before I actually get to meet people. And I think people are sick and tired of that. That's what you call fear-based politics. I believe in faith-based politics, and it should be up to the people in the district to decide their congressman, not the DC establishment.
Yeah, gotcha. Some local things that are on the ballot this year. What's your position on these data centers? It seems like there's so many unknowns. What's kind of your position on?
Yeah, so I think it has to be a case-by-case basis. It should not be forced on certain communities. In Kansas City, there's a couple data centers that were approved prior to me being on the city council, and I fought to make sure that they were held accountable on their commitments to the school districts in terms of the funding, the tax dollars that they were promised, because they were operating on a temporary certificate of occupancy rather than a permanent one. And so they were able to operate but not pay the taxes that they promised to the school district. So I fought to make sure they got a permanent certificate of occupancy so that school district, Smithville, could actually pay their teachers like they were going to with the increased revenues and actually do their long-term facility plans. I do think the technology is changing on them rapidly, but we got to protect ratepayers. We got to protect individuals, communities. I think North Missouri land should be used for North Missourians and farm or for ag production, not necessarily just becoming a land of data centers. But I understand the need to compete with the AI against China and Russia. But there's also been some innovative conversations about putting data centers in the oceans or deep water where you actually are not taking off our farmland. So that's where I push back on it, saying, is this actually a good deal? And people should have their voices heard. It should not just be forced in on them.
Yeah, I think one of the major concerns I heard, and maybe this happened down in the county down around St. Louis or somewhere, but I think, are they going to be able to use, are they going to use Chinese parts for these data centers, or are they going to use American made parts? I think that's a big thing. I mean, we already feel like we're under so much surveillance, from China and whatnot. So I think that's a major concern.
That should be a requirement that it's dealt with 100% American labor and American technology. But I'll say this too. I voted against the last data center proposal in Kansas City up by the airport. There's two concerns there. One, I thought it was too close to the actual runway and airport itself, because now data centers are going up in height, not just out, but they're actually going up in height. And the second thing too is a lot of the tax incentives are approved through a board that I don't get to sit on as a city council member. It's the mayor appointed board. And I don't like necessarily how those always go down. And so by me approving the zoning for it, it's me simply approving the incentive structure. And so a lot of times people are confused in the process, and that's what we need more of, is transparency. Who's actually gets to decide the incentive packages, because they're crazy.
Yeah, I bet. And kind of on a personal note, this really doesn't have anything to do with your run for Congress, but what's your position on Amendment 5? Here in Missouri?
I think I'll say this. Governor Kehoe campaigned on Amendment 5, but I've been hearing across the district some concerns on how it would be implemented, and I share some of those concerns. But it's up to the people to decide. And I'll give him credit. He campaigned on eliminating income tax, and so I in theory like that. But how is it going to impact communities that are bordering other states? Whether it be Platte County or here over in Lewis County. If you increase sales tax, where are you going to buy your groceries at? Where you're going to go across to another state to buy it?
I mean,
in Clay and Platte County, where I represent in the Northland, I mean, people are going to go. We don't like how the Chiefs have that new stadium out there, that new crazy TIF district that they have over there. Well, the thing is, if we increase our sales tax up to 15% on certain things, well, the Missourians are going to be funding the Chiefs stadium because we're going to be buying all of our stuff over there. So there's a lot of questions to be answered. But I'm glad that's on the ballot for people to decide. And I've been hearing from a lot of the rural communities and not too excited about it.
So you got some pretty major endorsements in this campaign. Do you want to speak on those a little bit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Got endorsed by Missouri Farm Bureau, which was a hefty process. Over 2/3 of Farm Bureau presidents or a delegation has to vote in support of you. And we were able to secure that endorsement. And that means a lot to our campaign. As agriculture is the #1 industry in North Missouri. There's over 27,000 family farms here. And as someone whose family still farms the district, it was very, very humbling, and appreciated that endorsement. And I will fight for farmers in Washington. I will make sure to not only try to serve on the ag committee, but try to stay on the ag committee too. We don't have current representation on that. And I surrounded myself with a lot of generational and next generational farmers. Some are not even Farm Bureau members, but maybe have a different perspective as well. And been very, very excited. They are also been endorsed by Missouri Soybean Association, which was huge, as well as, and Missouri Right to Life. Missouri Right to Life not only looked at my survey, but at my pro-life record on the city council. I have a 100% pro-life record and got a Safe Haven baby box, which is going to be installed in Clay County, the first ever pro-life victory in Kansas City.
Nice.
And so if you want someone who's actually fought and delivered in arenas that are not typically easy for Republicans, I've done that. If I can do that in our state's largest city, get a pro-life victory, stand up against the mayor on sanctuary cities, I'm proven I can do that in
Yeah.
DC as well. And these endorsements from Fraternal Order of Police, Farm Bureau, Right to Life, all point to that.
Good endorsements. Yep. Well, as we wrap up here, what would be your message directly to Lewis County? I know we're a long ways from Kansas City. We kind of, I guess I shouldn't speak for everybody. We're so remote up here. Sometimes you feel like you get lost when it comes to the concerns of and our voice in Washington, D.C. What would be your message to the voters here in Northeast Missouri?
My message would be this. Do you want a congressman who's going to show up, build relationships with people? I've been here several times already and understand some of the institutions, but I also understand I don't know all the questions or answers to every question. And it's important to me to have a relationship with your sheriff. I met with him this morning. Sheriff Parrish, great guy.
He is a great guy.
And he's stand up, and I know his wife's an educator in the community. I'm also a proud public school teacher. I teach high school math. And I think it's important that we have someone who actually supports our school system here. I've been big on workforce development. We shouldn't be pushing college on the next generation. We should be pushing productive careers. And I believe that if you can go, be a welder or plumber or electrician, you're going to go out and not have to worry about the college debt. And so big supporter of that. I got $25 million for the Northland Workforce Development Center, the largest workforce center in our state. I want to continue to fight for that all across North Missouri and team up with institutions that already provide that, making sure that their resources to expand it, not continue to fund the higher education pipeline. We need to be funding workforce development pipeline.
Yep, I agree. I mean, even up in here in rural Northeast Missouri, it seems like there's a shortage of plumbers, electricians. We need that back in here. Would you, so we've asked all the politicians this, would you, if you get to Washington, D.C., would you check back in with us here at the Lewis County Scoop? Maybe have you on a podcast, promote, even if it's just check in every couple months.
100%.
Let us know what's going on up there.
Not just in terms of communication, but showing up here too. I'm going to work all 33 counties like I have in this campaign. And the question is, do you like how you've been represented here previously in terms of someone showing up? Because I don't believe our current congressman showed up like he should have, especially for this area. And I've been hearing that all across the district. And, I'm going to be someone who's going to be the change that we need, the next generation of proven conservative leadership that will stand up to large money PACs. I think the greatest compliment in politics is when someone tries to smear you with millions of dollars. It's because they're scared and that they're behind or something in their polls show that they're a little bit behind or nervous, and they should be. I think people want an outsider and not just someone who's going to just listen to DC.
Right. Yeah. Well, the smear campaigns are definitely getting ready to ramp up in full force. The guy that works here at the Scoop, he's a mailman, and there's a lot of mailers going out. So,
get to see him first.
Yeah. So, is there anything you want to say to the voters before we get out here?
But ask for your prayers and support and vote on August 4th. It's time to have a proven conservative fighter, a doer, and not a talker out in Washington on behalf of North Missouri. And I'd be humbled if you were to support our campaign.
All right, there you go, Lewis County. Nathan Willett running for Missouri District 6, U.S. Congress.
Thank you.
Nathan, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Yep.